Yo, what is going on, everybody? Inzem here, and today I wanted to talk to you about SSJ Vegeta because I genuinely think this character is super top tier. Wow, that was a follow notification, even though I'm not streaming. Wow. Anyways, I was having discussions with Yasha a few days back, and we were just, I was just trading ideas on like how we feel about the meta, And one of the topics that got brought up is actually how strong this character is right now, and like he's really broken. And I kind of want to go over a video covering as to why that is, and why he might potentially be new like top 5, top 7 characters. I don't want to give him that much, but all you need to know is he is in the highest tier of characters currently, and you're going to need to figure out why and how to deal with it, more importantly, if you want to play him. So let's go over it, right? So before we actually talk about why he's super top tier and what the new stuff he got, I think it's more appropriate to first speak on what made him so strong before, or not even what made him so strong, the character strengths. That's a better way to put it, right? So before, he already had a few good things going for him. So for starters, his stagger game was already some of the best in the game in terms of frame data, right? -4, -3, -2, -5, -5, -2. Like everything he did was safe. And this is really good because he can like pretty easily restart his block strings and kind of make it hard to tell like when he was going to commit to something or not, which is already really nice. And on top of that, his light rocket kick also, same thing, base Vegeta, put him in the air at such a distance where it was kind of hard to just, challenge him. And having a way to safely injure block strings to the point where your opponent can't even take a turn if they wanted to is also really nice, because you can just choose to be like, I'm done here, and I kind of want to go back to neutral. So let's go back to neutral. So the character is already really safe. That was the strongest thing about him, right? He has safe pressure, and more importantly, really safe neutral, right? So let's take a look at that. JS, basically damn near the best for this angle in the game. He was the original one doing this. It's less minus than most characters because he actually recovers faster than even Labco pressing JS. He shoots even more than her. I like using her as a comparison because people know how strong she was, right? So he had the best version of this, on top of having an air DP to cancel into, right? Frame 1, meaning that even super dashing him, as long as you were being perspicacious about what was happening, you would always get a nice punish on it. So really safe neutral, right? Ground and key blast are good too. He was just really good at poking you out, right? This is stuff he's typically always had, right? On top of good movement because he had a rocket kick, a lariat, and a dive kick. Really mobile, really strong, really safe neutral, right? That's the stuff he's already had. And despite having this, he was actually seen on the lower side of the tier list due to a few different reasoning, right? Mainly his damage wasn't that consistent. He didn't get good damage off some of his starters. So his reward was low. His mix-up was a bit on the weaker side, and among other stuff, but those were the important ones. But now they actually changed the way he works so that none of these issues are even a thing anymore. Actually, I have to go as far as to say these are some of his strengths now, which is crazy to think about for this character, right? So let's actually start talking about the changes he received and why it actually made him so broken, right? So first things first, this move is insane. So let's talk about this, right? So first, I believe he shoots 16 key blasts in a very short time span. Yes, that is a lot of key blasts. So for starters, he can never lose a key blast war. And to really put this into perspective how strong this is, base Vegeta as a character never lost key blast wars, right? If you and your opponent start shooting key blasts at the same time, he would just win, right? Because he shoots 8 of them and at a very fast pace, right? So base Vegeta bullies normal characters in this situation, right? SSJ Vegeta bullies even base Vegeta in this situation, like bad. Like it's not even close. Like he can start shooting way later and still win. Look at this. And he confirms into a full combo, right? So that's insane, meaning that his zoning potential now is crazy because he can never lose this situation, right? So yes, he's always had this, but he actually didn't have any meaningful pressure off this move because he could not cancel in anything, meaning if you've seen this move, you could just super dash at him and he couldn't really do anything to stop it, right? But they actually gave him the ability now to cancel this on whiff into vanish, like a normal key blast. But more importantly, they gave him the ability to cancel this move into specials on contact. Meaning, as I showed you earlier, he can do things like that if it hits you. But the real busted part about this is, meaning he can cancel this into Super Dash now. Or excuse me, DP. Meaning he can beat out Super Dash. So, let me put this in perspective of how strong this is, right? Watch this. Look how late he just canceled that. Every other character, this would have been a punish because obviously he's whiffing the Ki Blast, so he should not be able to cancel it. But because he's able to cancel so disgustingly fast, and again, no other character can cancel into something that fast. That is not normal. You cannot do that with a typical Ki Blast. Remember, the DP is a TOD. This is a medium starter. So if you actually have the right route, messing it up right here, but this will actually kill you. I don't have the combos to showcase this off as effectively as I would like to, but as you can see, me just kind of doing ABC already was enough to do a considerable amount of damage. So obviously with a bit more optimization, you know, easily tackle 900 extra damage, or even just have a level 2, this will kill you. This is a TOD starter, so you cannot challenge him when he's doing this. Same thing, same rule applies to the air one as well. If you come into contact with this, he will kill you. So even if you didn't want to cancel into Spark and burn that resource, you can easily attack cancel to any other character and give them really good damage too. So this is just a scary situation. Hell, even go back into him, and this is still very high reward. So you cannot stop his zoning now. Not only is it going to beat almost every other zoning pattern because of how much he shoots, you cannot actually stop him from even shooting at you, which is terrifying. Because if you try to super dash this, even if you've seen him whiffing it and you try to super dash at an angle, chances are you're going to make contact with him, he's going to DP you, and you might lose your character, right? So this is really, really broken. So on top of that, because he can cancel into Lariat, this is actually a true string as well, which is... that's insane. That's not normal. For reference, typically these true string, because his Lariat is 17 frames full screen, there it is, he can do that, right? On top of that, this is also, I think, the fastest Ki Blast full screen in 20 frames. That is not normal. Typically Ki Blast at around 27 to 28 frames full screen. There you go. That is the normal. He's not normal. It's even faster than those. So this is insane pressure. Also, look how much chip damage this is doing. I counted it. That is around 4.6% chip, which might not seem like a lot, but keep in mind, every time he does this, as I just shown you, you kind of have to respect him, and you just have to block this out, right? So imagine playing neutral and he does this once. He catches you again, does it again. Falls in assist, does it again. Look at your health. He's like melting your health bar, actually. So for a game without chip, that is extremely powerful. Alright, enough of talking about that broken move. Let's actually move on to his Lariats, which is also ridiculous. And to really show the strength of this Lariat and put it in perspective how strong this actually is, we're going to look at Vegito, right? Because this was a very top tier character for a very long time in the previous versions of the game for a few different reasons, and one of which in being his Lariat, right? Very strong mobility tool, very high return on it, and it was just pretty hard to deal with it because it was hard to catch this character's landing because he didn't know if he was going to do that move or not. Reset back to neutral, he can use it to approach, use it to escape, a whole bunch of different uses for it, right? But let's look at it, right? It is minus 43, meaning it takes 43 frames to fully recover, and as you can see, it goes true full screen, barely, but it does. If the opponent had any sort of backwards momentum, so I'm going to be walking back now, you're going to see he doesn't go full screen anymore. He actually appears in front of you, so it does go full screen, but barely. So let's compare it to SSJ Vegeta's Rocket Kick, right? So minus 36, meaning he can spam this a lot more than Vegito can, and it's harder to punish, right? Faster than Vegito's, because again, this is 17 frames full screen. Vegito is nowhere near this speed, and it goes even further. Look how far that is. If I were to switch to SSJ Vegeta and have him do the same thing, as you can see if I'm walking backwards, he's still going to appear behind me. So, as far as neutral applications goes, this is a considerably better version than Vegito's EX legs. Think about that. One of the reasons that made Vegito top tier for so long, he has a stronger version of this. That is insane. I will mention that this is unsafe on block if done full screen, but typically because you kind of want to play him on mid to point now, you're going to cover this with an assist, so that's not the worst case scenario, right? And again, if you get hit by this, he does a lot of damage and actually builds and a lot of bar too, actually. It's pretty ridiculous. Not the most optimal combo. But as you can see, he gains a bar from doing this, so he can actually always super use. So he has roughly guaranteed, what, 47-ish, 46-ish% if he ever hits you with this move. That is crazy. That is really, really strong. So if you combine both of these tools, you're kind of starting to see why his neutral is so much better now, despite it being so good before. Doing things like this, that's very strong, it confirms, all the good stuff, right? On top of this, they also fixed his damage, like I mentioned before, because he can cancel this into other things, right? That includes Super Dash, meaning that is a new extension. And also at the ending of his combos, he can do something like that. So a typical combo route now would look something like this. That's a lot of meter. That's a lot of meter and a lot of damage for a solo character. So they kind of fixed that issue, right? His neutral's the best it's ever been, right? He still has broken staggers. His movement is crazy between this, all this stuff. Vegeta J2H. He has some of the best movement in the game. And the last issue that he actually had was mix-up. So let's look at that. What did they give him? So the two main things that are important as to what he got, and again, we're going to use Vegito because he was very strong for these certain reasons, and actually Vegeta, as you're going to figure out, basically has the better versions of these tools, which is insane to think about, right? So as far as mix-up goes, he actually can use Vegito's left right now using this move. This move was buffed. He also got an extra one, J2M, where it will actually cause this little ground bounce, so he can confirm it like this. And his damage from confirming it is actually really, really good. Higher than Vegito's. As you can see, I'm not going to finish the combo. That did 3.5, and the combo wasn't even nearly complete. Versus Vegito, for his same size sword, which is his primary mix-up, he barely gets 30%. So, yes. This is also faster than Vegito's JS, actually, but not too fast to the point where it's not a mix-up. This is actually a perfect speed to left-right, so he can do things like this now to get really good mix-ups, even mid-screen, and confirm it for really high damage, right? So he has Vegito's left-right, but he actually builds more meter and does even more damage than Vegito, right? And he also has access to a 2LO, meaning he typically has, you know, the average high-low mix-up. So that's always really, really nice to have, right? On top of that, they actually changed his light rocket kick. So if he holds forward, as you can see, he kind of bounces forward. And this is important because this gives him access to a left-right mix-up. Again, he cannot high-low you because he has 8 frames of landing recovery, so they made sure not to do that. But with beam assist, you can get away with doing something tricky like this. That same side. That's cross-up. And that is not reactable. And again, he confirms this for a pretty decent chunk of damage. So his mid-screen mix-up, for all intents and purposes, is very Vegito-like in how he attempts to left-right you a lot for a really high reward. And also, he does have a 2LO, so he can get away with just doing like call and assist, jump, fast fall, 50-50 that way, right? And in the corner, he has access to literally the most broken type of mix-up in the game. Funny enough, he's always had access to this, but because of his other faults, this wasn't grounds for broken top tier in the game. But now, because he has access to all this other stuff, and he still has this, it's crazy, right? So with either 26 or more frames of blockstone on any assist, he can actually true string high-low you by using light rocket kick, floating forwards, and landing and going low, or air dashing and going high. And this is a true 50-50. And this is gapless. You cannot do anything about this. I can count the amount of characters on one hand who has access to something like this, which is a unguard cancelable true string 50-50s with beam assist and typical neutral assist. That is not normal. Very little characters have that. So think about it, right? He has access to some of the strongest corner mix-ups in the game. He has access to very strong mid-screen mix-ups and has a 2LO, very strong left-right, very high damage, very high meter build because he builds anywhere from 2 bars per combo all the way up to 3 bars depending on the team you're using. Good damage because they fixed his extensions. Good pressure because his pressure is still the same. Broken neutral that he's already had, but it's even more potent now. Access to a DP, fully invincible, meaning his defense is better than most of the cast, so you have to worry about him even if you do manage to catch him. Some of the best movement in the game. He has everything. The only thing, and this is me nitpicking, the only thing that he doesn't have access to is actually very strong assists, which is I do think is the biggest drawback of the character. You have access to his A assist, which is basically a worse version of Vegito A. I don't think I need to explain this assist because it's been here since the game's launch, but basically it's Vegito A but only point blank, and you can also guarantee reflect it, and it can't really be baited. It's okay. A lot of people have gotten used to dealing with Vegito A from the previous seasons, so fighting a much weaker version of that assist is not going to trouble too many people, so this assist is just okay. In my opinion, it's not that good. His B assist, however, is 20 frame startup, 31 block stun, so it is good. It does do its job for strike assist, but again, it doesn't go as far as most would like, and it also doesn't have any special properties like being able to go through assist or key blast or anything of the like, so it's just an okay assist. His third assist is actually a pretty decent assist. I do recall Sonic Fox saying this is one of the stronger assists in the game a little while back. But it is basically a tracking DP assist. So once he starts up, he is fully in bull. It's his uppercut. And as you can see, he doesn't have too much block stun on the ground. But if the opponent is in the air, he will actually drag you to the ground in a pretty dramatic way, giving you a lot more frames of advantage, which is 52. So not the best lockdown assist per se, but in terms of neutral application, it actually is pretty strong. And with the recent buff of C assist being on a 9-second cooldown instead of 15, C assists are actually pretty optimal if you do want to run one, so this might not be a bad choice. But outside of that, that is his only flaw. He literally has access to almost every tool in this game, very high damage. He's threatening to TOD you off a lot of different starters. His support value is some of the highest because he can do tag DR. He has everything. Broken character. So like always, if you guys like this type of video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'm going to see you guys in the next video. Peace.